This is a quick follow-up on the video that I did the other day. I'm going to link it in the description regarding stasis weapons and how to get the best out of them. In this build I'm going to show you and a few mods how you can get chargeable light, high energy fire going and font of might at the same time. That's a 45% damage buff all of the time. Keep an eye on the bottom left. What I'm doing is I'm freezing enemies, killing the enemies, and that's going to spawn a shard. And when I pick that shard up, that's going to give me ×2 chargeable light and also proc my font of might going as well, which is 25%. So like I said, high energy fire is 20, font of might is 25% as long as you're running stasis weapons on a stasis subclass all of the time. And I mean all of the time. It's a constant damage boost and it's super strong with all the new stasis weapons that we've currently got in the game right now. Some crazy perks on there as well. I went over a lot of the perks on the video that I did before, firing line, etc. But this is just the way how I'm doing it. Again, just keep an eye on the shards that I'm creating, and when I'm picking them up, what's happening on the bottom left of the screen. Picking up that shard there, I would chargeable light ×2, and my font of might go in, which is stasis weapon boost. And it's so easy to achieve, and it's really good in certain situations. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here for boss DPS on a Vow of the Disciple, Rulk, really strong there as well. And then this is just another little mod I want to show you, Supreme Wellmaker. I'm going to go into it a bit more. Casting my super is going to spawn 3 stasis wells, so picking them up is also going to give me extra damage. Stay tuned, I'll show you the build. So this is the stasis build, the one that's going to allow you to get maximum damage on your stasis weapons with high energy fire and font of might, both stacked together. Like I said, it's a 45% damage increase. Bit tricky to achieve on certain sort of situations, but with this build it's really strong. I promise you can get high energy fire and font of might going all the time. Without further ado, I'll crack onto it, focusing on these two here, the Fortless and this rocket launcher, both stasis weapons. So you know the loop, everyone knows the loop. You basically put your lasting impression rocket launcher in there. As that's good about to detonate, you can switch to your Fortless. I've got lucky enough to get this one with firing line. Firing line's another buff. Always stacks with everything else also. So as we can imagine, we've got the firing line going. We're going to have that exploding. In between that, we're going to be sniping. We're going to have high energy fire, and we're going to have font of might going all of the time. So this is the sort of again, I'm not going to touch on everything because I've done a video on it. I'm going to link it in the description previously, so I don't want to sort of go over like a full-on sort of description of the build. I'm just going to tell you the key elements that you need to achieve it. We want to be running Grim Harvest, defeating slowed or frozen combatants, create stasis shards. Because in the clips, you'll see a lot of the shards, and these are like a massively important key part of this aspect, Grim Harvest. So you definitely need that on. I like to run Dustfield Grenade because that freezes multiple targets and it sort of lasts for a long time. Big area of effect. Your fragments don't really matter to be honest with you. You just want to be getting your max damage out. You mainly want to be sort of creating your shards and pairing it with a Dustfield Grenade. You can run Touch of Winter if you want. I run Renewal Grasps, so I like to run them. But again, just to clarify, Grim Harvest, Dustfield Grenade is sort of like your main sort of points for it. And then basically what I'm doing is this mod here, elemental shards. So all them crystals like you've seen in the clips that I'm creating, them stasis shards, they count as elemental wells. So the game thinks when you put this mod on that them shards are elemental wells. It's an absolutely fantastic mod. It's absolutely crucial to this build. So every time I pick up one of them shards, it's going to think it's an elemental well. And how that works is that's going to proc my font of might. As we know, that's pretty standard, pretty easy to explain. Picking up an elemental well that matches my subclass element is going to proc my font of might. But the other thing that we run is this one here, elemental charge, becoming chargeable light by picking up an elemental well. And as I just said, them shards are going to act as wells. So every time I pick one of them shards up, I'm going to get my font of might procced. and I'm also going to become chargeable light ×2 every time you pick up one of them shards. And as you've seen in the clips, you can create loads of shards all of the time, and that is instantly going to work with high energy fire. And that's how you sort of get your high energy fire going, by picking up the elemental shards. Elemental charge sort of makes that sort of glue together, if you like. So Fontamite, elemental charge, high energy fire, elemental shards is the main sort of catalyst to the build, and this will allow you to achieve the Fontamite and the high energy fire all of the time. And then the very last sort of one that I want to talk to you about was a Supreme Wellmaker, which I've shown you in the clip. Again, it's just another option where you can instantly grant yourself the 45% damage buff from Fontamite and high energy fire. So every time I cast my super, as I've shown you in the clip, that's going to spawn 3 stasis wells behind me. So that's another perfect sort of way of doing it. There might be a situation where you don't have any ads, like in the DPS phase again versus Rulk, to get a lot of them thrall spawning, but towards the end of the DPS phase you don't get a lot, and you can cast that super at him and spawn the elemental shards, which again you just pick up and proc all these things going. Fontamite, high energy fire, elemental charge, and again just sort of touching on the Thoughtless Sniper, really strong. It's a stasis weapon. All that is going to activate with your Fontamite because you're on the stasis subclass. There's various different options. We've got Deliverance, various different perks, bait and switch, surrounded. We've even got things like crate with Vorpal weapon, and then your rocket launcher. Obviously, we've got lasting impression. We've got ones with explosive light. We've got grenade launchers here with frenzy. We've got all sorts going on, but in particular I'm going to focus on these two because they're quite strong at the moment. I'm going to show you some more clips now and how it can be used and where. I hope you found the build and mods etc all useful. And this is some decent examples there. I've frozen that thrall there. I'm going to pick that shard up like I was saying, and that's going to give me instantly my 25% damage for Fontamite and also 20% high energy fire because I'm chargeable light. These are both stacking together here, and I'm getting some decent numbers there with my sniper rifle, and I'm gonna stick a rocket into him in a moment. And then there's another little way of getting the shards. Look, easy, constantly all the time. And then I'm got my 2 damage buffs going, Fontamite, high energy fire. Stuck my rocket into him. We've got no divinity here, we've got 2 dead, but we still managed to finish him. I casted my super there to spawn me elemental wells, so I could keep that buff going. Like I said, it was just a situation when we didn't have any ads, and I've thrown my super at him, spawned them 2 elemental wells. So yeah, I hope you think it's sort of useful in certain situations and in general play as well. I think if you run the build, you'll see that you can become chargeable light all of the time with it, and have Fontamite going like all of the time. So yep, take it easy.